Today is Good Friday, and Christians all over the world are stopping to reflect on the crucifixion of Jesus. And I want to take a few moments to consider how John's Gospel records the stunning words of the crucified man, "It is finished," in John 19 verse 30. This is a word of tremendous power and finality. Jesus' death, like his life, is a work of perfection. There are no loose threads, there is no unfinished business. Pilate's verdict on Christ had been given very clearly in chapter 18 verse 38 of John's Gospel. Pilate says, "I find no basis for a charge against him." Even corrupted human power can see the perfection of Christ. And so Jesus lays down his own life, and he tells his disciples in John 10, "I lay my life down only to take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord." And then again to Pilate, Jesus reiterates this in John 19, "You would have no power over me if it were not given to you from above." And so as Jesus comes to the work of the cross, this sense of his autonomy in laying his own life down is very powerful. And now we hear this word that he speaks from the cross: "It is finished." In Greek, it's one word, tetelestai. Jesus shows us that he has completed the work of the cross. And with this word, he declares that the cross is not a defeat. Jesus has seen his purpose on earth through to completion, overcoming the evil and the darkness of sin, resisting that temptation to come down from the cross, making atonement, or at-one-ment, the gap between us and a holy God, covered by the cross so that we can come to the Father. That word atonement means covering. It means that we are covered by that finished work of Christ. And here we hear in this triumphant cry from the cross, "It is finished." We hear a word of authority. Who would dare to say Christ's work is incomplete? Who could stand and say that you are not good enough, that you need to try harder, that you need to do this or do that to win God's approval? Who would dare to say that the reconciliation of God and humanity is hopeless, that the distance is too great, or that we are too broken? Because Christ says, "It is finished." Hear that word over your life today. Tetelestai. It is finished. Addictions, brokenness, regrets, sin, failings, violations, insecurities. It is finished. Christ has done all that is necessary for our healing and our forgiveness, our reconciliation. Look to him today and his finished work on the cross for you on this Good Friday. It is finished. And then Luke records for us Jesus' words at the very moment of his death. "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." Jesus chooses Psalm 31 verse 5 for his last words, adding "Father" at the beginning of that phrase. And so this moment out of his actual death on the cross is filled with peace and certainty. There's no sorrow or doubt in this prayer, just a firm conviction that the debt of humanity has been paid, and Jesus is now going to take refuge in the Trinitarian embrace. He's coming home. This is intimate, reassuring, complete. And in this death, love's sure home is affirmed and secured for any who will receive Jesus' forgiveness. And it's an amazing pattern for us in life and in death. "Father, into your hands I entrust and commit my spirit." For those facing death, we might remember that promise, "In my Father's house there are many rooms, I'm going ahead to prepare a place for you." And in this time in our world, death feels nearer than ever. For a Christian, facing death means knowing that Jesus will come and take us to be with him where he is. Death is not being alone, even if humanly we're isolated. Jesus' death secures a love-filled death for any who will come to him, and a certain knowledge that death is not the end. And as Jesus actually dies in that moment, as he lays down his life and as he gives up his spirit, the temple curtain is ripped from top to bottom. This was the barrier separating the holy place from the Holy of Holies, the place of God's presence where no one could go. And it wasn't a sort of thin net curtain. It took an extraordinary miracle for that to happen. One writer estimates that it needed 300 priests to even move that curtain. Jesus' death has been broken down. Has broken down that barrier. He's opened the way for us to enter the holy place. Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. The work of the cross is done. It is finished. The work of Good Friday is complete.